So not E3 season is alive and well. Companies are doing presentations, except for Nintendo. You're not getting a Nintendo Direct, and Ubisoft held a presentation today. I'm not the biggest Ubisoft fan in the world, but they did have some games that interested me. I usually hate Ubisoft presentations, but sometimes I like the games, and this was very indicative of this, because this presentation kind of sucked, but the games were really good, so I don't even know how to feel about this. So let's just talk about the games that we saw today and why I'm kind of excited for some of these upcoming Ubisoft games. Just Dance 2024 started out the show. There was some dancing. Guy kind of reminded me a little bit of Jack Move Johnny. Yeah, let's get into the good stuff though. The first game that we got to look at was Avatar. Now, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I've never watched an Avatar movie, but Avatar Frontiers of Pandora kind of looks a little bit like an RPG game. Maybe I'll have to check out these films. I think they're on Disney Plus. I do have that. I will say that the world itself looks pretty crazy. There's some insane colors going on here, some really nice flora and fauna, which is like animals and vegetation, in case you're not aware of that. There's a variety of weapons that you have to protect yourself, basically against humans invading your land. I'm getting sort of, I don't know if this is the motif for this game, but kind of like the Native Americans and the colonials coming over. Like, I don't know if that's supposed to be the feeling I'm getting from this, but that's the vibe I'm sort of getting from this. A lot of people online don't seem to like the first-person exploration aspect of the game. They're saying it's a first-person adventure game, not a first-person shooter, but it definitely leans more so towards like first-person shooter elements, but I'm cool with that. Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. It looks appealing to me as long as it's done well. Like, who cares? It really opens up the combat into different sort of stuff that you can do. You could be stealthy, you could go guns blazing, and they of course showed the different weaponry that the Avatar people, I don't know what they're called, the Avatar people obviously have, but this person that you're playing as was conditioned by humans, so they are also familiar with human technology and how to sort of use that. The presentation itself was a mix of gameplay, cutscenes, and in-game stuff. I would have preferred mostly gameplay, but you know, it is what it is. I do think that the world might potentially be a bit too barren at times. They didn't really show how the world itself was going to be super fleshed out, but I mean, that's something that could be ended up, you know, being addressed, and they didn't really get too much into that stuff. I will say the flying stuff looks absolutely amazing in this game. Like, the creature itself looks kind of like a Panzer Dragoon sort of thing, and I definitely really like the flying stuff that they showed in the combat. There's going to be online co-op in the game as well, so you can play through the game with a friend. December 7th of 2023. I don't know, this might actually be a game that I check out. Ubisoft, if you're watching this video, because you might be, and we've worked with stuff in the past together, keep me in mind for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, especially if you're looking for an opinion for someone who's not a huge fan of the franchise or doesn't really know much about it. Defiant was up next. There's an open beta in June, trying to launch by the end of summer. This kind of annoyed me because they showed like streamers playing the game, but they didn't show the actual gameplay. And like, I haven't been following this. I didn't even really know what this was. So I was like, well, what is this? It looks like a competitive first-person shooter sort of thing. You know, I like those styles of games. And then I learned that it was free to play. So it's like, oh, well, you know, now I'm kind of a little bit more interested in it, that I don't have to invest any money into it. There's going to be season passes and stuff like that. But it was just too much talking with this. Like, show me the actual game. Don't tell me about the game. So I feel like this was a little bit of a missed opportunity. Next up was the game of the showcase by far, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Holy shit. This game, I don't know what it is, because usually, you know, I'm kind of a little bit burned out by 2D sort of stuff. Maybe it's because it's more 2.5D than just a 2D game. This game looks absolutely amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. It's a semi-open world Metroidvania where you're trying to find Prince Hassan, who has been captured. The combat looks awesome. The areas look awesome. The bosses look awesome. There's puzzles, there's combos, there's special moves. You can control time. There's precision jumping in order to get deeper into this. Holy crap. Like, sign me up for this game. This game looks absolutely fantastic. I think This game is probably one of the coolest games that we have seen during all of these presentations, and it might actually be one of the coolest games of 2024, even though it's coming out very early in the month of January of 2024. I'm super on board with this game. This game, every time I see it, it looks absolutely amazing. They tease that there's going to be like other stuff that they haven't even shown us as well from this game. So sign me up, man. This looks freaking awesome. Ubisoft, once again, I'm not trying to simp for you, but if you want to work on something and for this game, let's do it. Let's do it. I want you send me some swag for it and stuff. That game looks freaking awesome, man. And then of course we got to like the shitty part of the presentation. All these presentations, they start out good, then you get to the middle and it's like, and then you get to the end and then it's like, oh yeah, now things are getting good. Captain Laserhawk, a blood dragon. It's an anime, and like some dude who like, I guess is the director of it or something, was on stage telling just absolutely horrible jokes. He was on stage for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then they showed like a 20-second clip of the show, and I was just like, okay. Division Resurgence, which I didn't even know what the hell that was. Evidently it's a mobile game. They just showed a bunch of CGI for it though, and I was like, bro, this sucks. Like, I didn't even know this was a mobile game until the end when they showed a cell phone. There was a musical performance, because we got to keep it, you know, E3 2010 style here, for Skull and Bones, a piece of shit game that nobody is going to play. Ubisoft, we're not working together on Skull and Bones. Unless that bag is really big, then I'll do like a let's play of it, so hit me up. But yeah, the musical performances, we don't need that. Mario and Rabbids is getting some Rayman DLC. That's kind of cool. I like Rayman. I wish Rayman still had games. The Crew Motorfest was up next. Once again, I've never played these Crew games. This did absolutely nothing to interest me in it. It looks like Forza Horizon. I already have Forza Horizon. I don't need the Crew Motorfest. Then we got the Assassin's Creed portion of the show. Obviously, Assassin's Creed is a huge IP for Ubisoft. Probably one of their most popular things. Of course, Assassin's Creed was an offshoot of Prince of Persia, but that's a story for another day. So they talked about Assassin's Creed Nexus for MetaQuest 2, so some VR Assassin's Creed. You know what? Sign me up for that. I'm interested in that. I like experiences on my VR, whether it's MetaQuest 2 or PlayStation VR 2, that I can't really get on other platforms, and I feel like that'll be a lot of fun. It was all cinematic crap, though. There was no gameplay. Like, show me what the game is actually going to look like. There was an Assassin's Creed mobile game, because why not? But then Assassin's Creed Mirage was shown off, and I really liked what I saw from this game. So my Assassin's Creed sort of fandom, I love the first game, I love the second game, I came around to loving the third game. Fourth game was my favorite. I thought Black Flag was freaking amazing, and then the series just kind of fell off for me. Like, I don't know, they all just kind of felt samey, and you know, they got like too big, and like these worlds were just too massive. But Mirage is sort of a throwback to, they consider it an homage to like the first 2 games of the Assassin's Creed franchise. And looking at this gameplay trailer, you definitely get that feeling. I do wonder though, how much of it is going to be like an homage, and how much of it is going to just feel maybe a little bit dated in terms of what you can do. Personally, I loved what I saw, because it looked much more confined. It looked much more sort of restricted in what you're doing. And I know those are usually terms that you wouldn't put together for like a game to like be excited about a game, but I feel like it's just more focused. That's the word I'm looking for. It looks a lot more focused than a lot of newer Assassin's Creed games do, which are just like big for the sake of being big. But I do wonder like how they're going to keep it fresh, and how they're going to keep the world itself that you are in interesting. I would definitely liked what I saw from this though, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and I'm like, bro, there's a lot of cool games at this presentation. There's a lot of cool games. And then we end on what arguably was one of the craziest games, Star Wars Outlaws. Now, we got introduced to this game during the Xbox presentation with no gameplay, and I was on Spawnwave's channel, and people in the comment section were like, women, because this was like the 3rd lead woman character that we had saw in a row. Women. It's like, bro, I don't care. Like, I don't care about sex or race or religion or whatever, dude. As long as the character is good, like, I don't care. And this character does seem interesting, but there is kind of one flaw. So they showed some of the gameplay for this game. It started out in sort of a stealth gameplay mode. Then you ended up getting vision, like, You have a little companion named Nyx who can help you out and sort of solve puzzles, distract enemies and stuff. Then, of course, things got out of control. You got caught, and we got to look at the blaster combat. I think the blaster combat actually looks really cool. There's different sorts of blaster attachments that you can have. That's sort of like if an enemy has a shield, there's a certain attachment that will eat through their shield so you could shoot them up and stuff. Very, very cool. I liked what I saw from that. It looked very tight. You sort of learn more about the character. It's kind of like a smuggler type, almost like maybe a little bit of a younger female Han Solo. She talks a lot, though. Like the sort of self-talking, like, oh, I did a good job, like shit like that. And I think a lot of people won't like that. It did kind of grate on me initially, but the more I sort of was watching the trailer, the less it sort of annoyed me. But initially, like, I don't need a whole bunch of self-dialogue. Like, I can see what's happening within the world. But the fact that you have this little companion with you, it definitely lends itself to talking more about what is actually going on. But then we get out of this area, we get some vehicle stuff. That looked really cool. You get different relationships with people that, you know, different dialogue trees that sort of affect how you are sort of accepted into certain areas and stuff with certain races of people and different, you know, army legions and stuff. The open world seems interesting enough. Like, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on. And then they showed air combat, which looked crazy good. It looked crazy good in terms of like the environment and like flying through outer space and, you know, fighting these enemies. I really like the vibe of this game. You know, the open world sort of lends itself to something that I don't think we ever really saw within a Star Wars game. Like, there was KOTOR and stuff like that, but I mean, it was like, you know, a different style of game. This is more of an action-based style of game, and it really does have that sort of go anywhere, do anything, million different side missions. It's almost like old school Assassin's Creed, but with Star Wars. And like, for me, that's pretty cool. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. The original trilogy, fantastic. The second batch of trilogies, you know, I like them a little more than some others, mostly based on nostalgia, but like Darth Maul is pretty cool. And then the newer stuff I haven't even watched, like all the new offshoot shows and stuff, but the world of Star Wars is still interesting enough. The relationships, the characters, the dialogue, you know, it's cool. The weapons, of course, is cool stuff. So this Ubisoft presentation took me by surprise. I hated the presentation, like the pacing. It was way too long. It was like an hour and a half long. It's like, bro, 45 minutes, it would have been the sweet spot. I don't need crappy jokes. I don't need musical performances. I need games. And in terms of games, they did a good job. They showed a lot of gameplay. They showed exciting games. The games themselves look very high quality. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but I somewhat enjoyed this Ubisoft presentation. A lot of people are probably going to rake it over the coals because maybe the games didn't hit with them. But looking back, like, I want to check out Assassin's Creed VR. I want to check out Assassin's Creed Mirage. I want to check out Star Wars Outlaws. I want to check out Avatar. And I want to definitely check out Prince of Persia. That game looks freaking awesome. So, decent job, Ubisoft. Decent job. You took a lot of people by surprise and you put on, you know, a good games. Got to work on that presentation, though. Hit me up for that. Hit me up for the games that you want me to cover on the channel, and hit me up for advice on a presentation. I can make this like 40 minutes long, nice and tight. Everyone will be happy. Less talking, less music, more gameplay. But let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of this presentation. Did you even watch it, or is this recap doing its job? If it is doing its job, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new, and be sure to share this video around with your friends to let them know what is happening in the world of Ubisoft. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one, which will be in a little bit because Capcom's going to make a presentation as well today. Later.